If we have someone in our head and in our heart and the memories in our body, and we haven't put up enough energetic boundary to get into our space, that can play a role in this. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I think one of the biggest pieces inside of that to understand first and foremost is that we're not even aware that those patterns are running. We're not even aware that when someone says something to me, I literally I'm not seeing the person that's in front of me. I'm listening to the voice from my past. And so we talk about being authentic, but at the same time, because of, you can call it whatever you want, patterns, you can call it scripting, whatever it is, it's preventing me from being present. And so if we want to talk about authenticity, the first place I think we need to talk about is about, am I present? Am I really present in my life in this moment? Right? And I give the example of this a lot of times to people, and when I'm talking, when I'm doing a presentation or up on stage or however that is, and I look at people and I say, how many of you have had the experience of getting off of work and then all of a sudden you're in your driveway and you don't realize or remember how you got home, but you're in your driveway? And so the reality is that even though I'm driving, and thank goodness there was part of me that was watching out what was happening, because I avoided accidents. I stopped when I needed to stop. I got out of the way when I needed to get. I turned where I needed to turn. And here I am sitting in my driveway. Yet where was your mind when that was happening? Because you weren't present. When those patterns show up in our lives, right? We are not present to this moment. It's interesting. I was working with a man yesterday from Maui. Beautiful man. He was a rolfer for 20 years. So, like, if everybody knows what the process of rolfing, that is a very intense process, right? And he got sick about 4 years ago and had an operation. And I asked him yesterday, and one of the things that he said was, I'm not sure if I have the will to live anymore. I heard him, and I knew I couldn't ask this question in the moment, so I kind of put it to the side. But the question that I had in my head is, of that statement that he just made, is that really true? And so we went to this process, because he was saying that because there was a mindset inside that had been embedded years and years ago that says that I can't have what I want. That was that disconnect that he had gotten because of not being loved by his parents and being left to basically fend for himself. And so we walked from that point backwards till we could see the place. And we did it in a way, we think that our minds are in control of our lives. But the reality is that what's running us is the emotion that's inside of our bodies. And so when I can become very aware, or more aware, or as aware as I can be, of the emotion that's running, the more we are aware of that, then we start to really understand what's happening for us, right? Because he's saying that, and what I'm feeling inside of his body, because that's one of the ways that I work, is being able to feel where people are energetically. And I said, when you say that, what I feel is you contracting. I said, it literally feels like it's going like this, and it's rolling yourself into a ball. And all I feel is your energy contracting. I said, can you feel that? And because of the work that he'd done, he said, yes, I can feel the contraction. I said, good. I said, now, instead of contracting, what would it feel like for your energy to be neutral? In other words, to stop the contraction, right? And so we got to a place of stopping the contraction. And then I said, now, tell me something that you love, something that makes you smile, something that brings you joy. And he lives in Maui, so he says the mountain, right? And I got a picture of something else, because he loves to swim, and I could feel the water moving over his body, and I could feel him and the way he felt. So we started working with that. And I said, so when you look at the mountain and the beauty that surrounds you where you live, what happens inside of you? And he felt his energy change, and he felt his energy start to expand. And I said, now we're actually present because you're paying attention to where you are and what's happening inside of your body. And I said, so now what would happen if we got everything down to a place where I started to recognize how I was feeling when I'm saying something? People say, I'm happy. And I hear that all the time, or I'm having a good day. And I hear happy, good day. But when I look inside, there's a disconnect. So if we're talking about being authentic, the word is not connected to the feeling, right? So authenticity is feeling what I'm saying. Authenticity is feeling what I am or what I'm being. So to make it really simple, right? We're either expanding our energy or we're contracting our energy. So can I get to the point where I recognize when something's happening around me, if I'm saying something in conversation, I'm thinking about something, I'm seeing something on TV, I'm reading something, if I'm contracting or expanding.